Howdy, neighbors. We've got this workshop coming up, and I hope you might want to think about joining us. We're looking at understanding some improvising here today on a good old time tune, one entitled Boil Them Cabbage Down. Now, if you don't really particularly care for Boil Them Cabbage Down, you're like, oh, you can call it in jam sessions, whatever. That doesn't really matter. Of course, it will get called every now and then, but not too often. It's super old-timey. But it's a great one to start understanding improvising gambits on a very simple melody. Okay, so we're just gonna assume that you know how it goes in the chord progression. All right, boil them cabbage down, break them whole cakes down. Only song that I can sing is boil them cabbage down. The super simple melodies. We like it because it's simple for our goals here today. All right, major third there, starting off second fret of the A. Okay, so first thing, dibble dabbles. All right, here's the dibble dabbles video. You can check that out at length. But if we're gonna apply it to the melody here, it'll sound something like this. Something like that. Now when you get to that open A string where it goes to the D chord, you might just not do the dibble dabble there, and you might do a scalar passage fragment. So coming from the A down to the D string, straight down your D scale. So you got, you just hang there, and you get that corner little piece of the upstroke of the A to link you back to your melody downbeat. Gotta have your little folded scale ending like there. All right. You can make that even better subjectively by going little arpeggio with a 6th note, 2nd fret of the D. That's the E note. So you can make it more Monroe style, going using your staggered upstroke. Yeah. I know I'm going a little quick here, but we're trying to cover a lot of ground here today. Of course, you could go right to your arpeggiation through the chords. But before we do, please like and subscribe. Go ahead and hit that little bell there for the notifications. You'll get all the good stuff from Noya Mountain Music. Thank you. And please consider becoming a patron on patreon.com/Noya Mountain Music. That'll help you learn those chordal arpeggios much better, using a simple melody and then arpeggiating each melody note. So 2nd fret of the A, that's your G arpeggio, start from the major third, and right back up. And your next melody note, the C note, arpeggiate the C chord, back to your major third, the B note, then you're to the open A, then you're in the chord of D. You could just do it straight down the arpeggio. 4th fret, open D, 2nd fret of the G, open D, 4th fret, open A, 5th fret of the A, or you could add the flat 7th in there, the dominant 7th in D. That's a nice sound to get comfortable with. All right, so you got something like that. Okay, so already you got these gambits in your mind. You got your simple melody, but before you can do the, what we just showed you there, you should probably get those double stops. Super simple double stops, but if you haven't got them, this is really cauliflower and potatoes important for your intermediate skill set. There's your 35. 9th fret of the D, 5th fret of the A. Up to the 4th note in the G scale, harmonizing it with the E note there, that's the bottom of your C chord up high. 10th fret of the D, 7th fret of the A. That's your second melody note. Boil them cabbage down. Back to your 35. Bake them whole cakes. And you could just do the 51 in D. 7th fret of the D. 5th fret of the A. You could have the 7th there. 3rd fret of the A. Just depending on what kind of sound you want. You do little chromatic moves. Back to your 9 and 5. 35. Then here you got some options. You can just go right down. You could do your little folded lick up high. That's a good move to be able to get to be doing. So much stuff you can do there. But this is really important to play your simple melody up the neck. And of course, being able to transpose it to A, do this all again in a different key. But we're just trying to get organized in our mind. So we're thinking about little dibble dabbles. combine the dibble dabbles with little scalar passage fragments. Okay, so what's going on there? You get your little dibble dabble, and then you're walking up to the next melody note over the next chord, the C chord. All right, just try to work that out. Do your little dibble dabble there. Do a little folded thing there at the end, which will fold you back around to your next melody note, second fret of the A. Walk that down your scale. And then when you are walking back up to your next melody note, you can do it many different ways. Try them all out. You know. So. Let's talk about speed optimization. Like if you're playing this as an old-time breakdown, doing those stagger 16th notes. When you do the stagger on the very first tip of it, you don't have to stagger on the way to the D. You know, it's maybe easier if you don't. Just hang on that 5th fret of the D. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Just have one open D string. So you get that motif going. This really optimizes well quickly. Could you break out of your middle of your G chord there and do something high with the arpeggio? Sure. Oops. Just as an example, you could do that same kind of arpeggiated motif up high. All right, could do some in the infinity shape. That's your infinity shape there. In G. If you're staggering it, could you do it single stroke? This kind of sounds more classical that way. That's a little bit beyond the scope of our intermediate level situation we got going up here. But if you're staggering up to your melody in the C chord, that's pretty user-friendly there. Again, you're not going right for that C note, you're just going for the chordal double stop in C. It's nice to have that landing pad of the harmony double stops going down. That's harmonizing your 3, 2, 1 with its respective melody note. All right, so could you hit the melody over the C chord? Sure. You know? Getting used to these little 35 position little licks, super important. So we're combining a lot of different improvisational gambits to color out a very simple tune. The point of it is to do this on the simple songs to get used to it, so it's not a really hard melody. Like our melody's so simple. So it gives you an opportunity to explore these gambits without being overwhelmed by a very complicated, wide shape of a melody. So you can always kind of keep that melody flowing in your mind, which is the most important thing, so you can remember where you are. And of course you got your low octave. Don't forget about your happy little double stops there. Just walking that down. It's a 5 and a 3. All right. Just walk that down chromatically to the 3rd fret and the 5th fret. Right back to your 3 and the 1, 2nd fret of the A, 3rd fret of the E. And of course, transposing all this stuff up to A. Okay, so this is your prescription should you choose to take this mantle up with your practice this week. Boil them cabbage down, strum machine, working out these little gambits, you know, your dibble dabble. Pair with a nice simple passage fragment of a scale coming from the open A down to open D. Maybe find a way back up to your melody note. Getting a little staggered arpeggio in there. This is more advanced intermediate, heading towards advanced stuff, you know, but getting the staggered arpeggios underneath your fingers, very important. What's going on there? Staggering up from the bottom. Moving on your upstroke, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, just right through your chords. Up through the root. You can combine that with, you know, coming down through the root for more variety. And then your little ending lick. These are simple things, but you want to be able to master this stuff as you work through your internal repertoire, especially on the easiest of the easy songs. So, hope you've enjoyed this little lesson here. If you like the lesson, then just click the old like button. That helps us out with the algorithm and all that, getting it out to more people. Please subscribe to the channel if you want more of this content. If you'd like to support this work, please think about becoming a Million Mountain Music Patreon supporter at patreon.com/millionmountainmusic. Many thanks to the folks who are making all these videos possible. Try to do one every week on a Monday or a Tuesday. And there are various levels and tiers of rewards. There's a couple of free workshops at the family tree level, licks of the month, the note for note, Monroe stuff, and always a guitar video in there. There's a lot of content there that we put out every month, and you can check it out if you'd like to. And we will see you on the next one, neighbors. Adios.